If you are looking to triple your mental performance, your energy, your output, and everything like Bradley Cooper in the movie Limitless, then listen to this. So in the movie, Bradley Cooper takes this pill. It's called the NZT pill. And what that does is he goes from this broke journalist, can't read, where he can't write, he can't think what to say, he's tired all the time, he looks partially homeless, and he doesn't know what's going on. And then he meets this friend who gives him this drug. It's called the NZT pill. And once he takes this, his world changes. All of a sudden in the movie, the colors of the world, his reality that he's seeing, light up. The cogs in his brain start turning back on. All of a sudden he can write a book in record time. He goes, to the stock market. Robert De Niro is the other character. He works for him, makes a ton of money. He travels the world, learns a ton of these languages, gets the partner of his life, goes around dating different girls around the world. Just lives this high-end lifestyle that a lot of people potentially aspire for, maybe not aspire for. But what we can take from that, and what most entrepreneurs and high performers are looking for, is how can we attain this same level of performance, but in real life naturally, without the negative side effects that come from the NZT pill, which potentially kills you, and you can take it for so long, and towards the end of the movie, it really threatens his life. So how can we attain this NZT pill like real life? So here's how to do it. I've done this for about 8 years now, and it's been a quest that I've been on. And since watching the movie, I've went on a similar quest myself. And so this is what I think is how you can attain it naturally in a way that's sustainable, that lasts for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years to come for the rest of your life without any negative side effects. So the first thing we need to look at is a couple things. So the first is everyone has a stress bucket inside of their body. Okay, these are genetic reasons and many other things going on. But what happens is we have external stressors from our environment, like work, deadlines, bad relationships, social media. Those are the ones that we are very familiar with. But ones that we are not familiar with are internal stressors. Internal stressors and external stressors go into the stress bucket. And when that stress bucket becomes overfull and overloaded, and it just overflows, then we start to have brain fog, we start to have low energy, low performance, low memory. We don't know what's going on. And as a result, we rely on external temporary band-aid solutions like coffee, pills, and other things like this, because that's what mainstream tells us, in order to improve all these things at once. The problem with that is it's not sustainable. It's a bit like a dirty high. We can take it, then we have to continually increase the dose. For example, like caffeine. If we want to get better productivity in the morning, many people opt for coffee or caffeine and they drink multiple cups a day, only have a crash and it interferes with their sleep, and it's just a downward cycle that really has a negative impact on the body. So here's what you have to do. Number one, and probably the easiest, is the low-hanging fruit. We want to think like 80-20. How do we get 80% of the results with 20% of the effort or the work? And the first thing is removing those external stressors. So this could be a bad relationship, removing social media devices, close to bedtime, putting your phone in airplane mode. If you have deadlines or things, in your life just seem like a bit chaotic, how can you set up systems in your life so you're not having this internal stress? Okay, now we take those external stressors out of that stress bucket. Now your body has more RAM and bandwidth available to actually be self-sustaining. Now we're starting to notice our memory's coming back, our performance is coming back, our focus is coming back, our energy is coming back. Next, let's switch over to internal stressors. Now, internal stressors are sometimes known as hidden stressors. These can be inside of our body, for example, like gut parasites that steal the nutrients from even healthy food that we're eating, so we can't use it for fuel, for hormones, or our brain neurotransmitters. We could have a thyroid imbalance. Maybe it's potentially hypothyroid where it's functioning slowly. Maybe our brain neurotransmitters are slightly off. Maybe we don't have sufficient dopamine to focus for long periods of time. And by the way, that dopamine, if we go down to the precursors of what actually creates dopamine for that focus that we need, a lot of the time that comes from our gut, because the foods have to break that dopamine down to L-tyrosine from our gut bacteria to provide the building blocks for our brain to focus, or serotonin for feeling happy, GABA to feeling calm, acetylcholine for our memory. You get the idea. And when these things are not functioning properly, because we have different systems inside of our body, all of a sudden it's like a Jenga puzzle, where if you pull out one piece of the Jenga puzzle, there's going to put stress on the other side of that tower. And then you pull a piece out of there, it's going to cause stress on the other side until the whole thing comes tumbling down. And that's what happens inside of your body. You see, when one of these systems starts to have stress, think of it like a bridge or the Jenga analogy I just gave you, it's going to create stress on other parts and systems in your body. Now those ones go into overdrive and create stress on them, and then they start to break down. It creates overdrive on other systems in your body until the whole thing comes tumbling down. And that's why by getting to the root cause, one, we talked about removing the external stressors, but then the second one is removing the internal stressors. So the gut is one I mentioned. Maybe you have potentially heavy metals in your body, toxins, mold, the list goes on with that. You could also have a liver that's potentially kind of clogged up. We have pathway 1 and 2 inside of our liver, and if those are clogged, then a lot of the toxins that are naturally just built up in our body, or for example, the air that we breathe, the stuff we put on our skin, over time, this can be stored inside of our fat cells and we don't even know it. And that's why we're feeling sluggish, because again, these internal stresses are going into our bucket and just slowing everything down. And so the first thing is getting to the root cause, removing the external stressors. We take that out of the bucket. Now we're going to take the internal stressors, out of the bucket. Now all of a sudden, we have this garden that doesn't have these weeds anymore. And our body, using its inner healing mechanism, as woo-woo as that sounds, it's gonna be a lot more self-sustaining. Now it can start healing itself. But now we can accelerate that process. Now we can plant seeds in that garden, now that there's no weeds left anymore. And this is where the magic really happens, because once we start doing that, then all of a sudden our brain will come back up online. All of a sudden our focus will improve, our energy will improve, our flow will improve, our mood will improve, who we are as people will just begin to improve. And as a result, people will want to be around us more. Productivity improves and focus improves. So now we can get more done in less time. So like an 8-hour workday, what if we saved 3 or 4 hours? So we finished it in half the time. Now we have more free time to do a hobby, spend time with our loved ones, do a side hustle that we want to spend time on. Now you unlock more freedom, more travel, more happiness, and that becomes self-fulfilling. I've just seen it time and time again with so many people. And you can focus on these external things, not necessarily external stressors, but maybe reading books and things like that. These are important too. But instead, if you focus on the inner first, by healing your body at a root cause level, then everything is just going to be ROI-wise for your time. It's just going to be running a lot more efficiently. And when your inner machinery runs more efficiently, you're going to be just like Bradley Cooper in the movie Limitless, maybe not at that extreme, but the best version of that for yourself, and really unlock your genetic potential that way faster than you ever realize. Now, if this is something that you're potentially looking for help with, you can comment down below or click the link in the description below, or we can do a free assessment. No hard feelings at all if you don't want to, but there's more content to come on how to improve all these things, and we'll see you in the next video.